Hello, this is Tony Heller from realclimatescience.com. 2 years ago, energy was very cheap and the economy was booming. And then government leaders throughout the Western Hemisphere started taking actions to shut their economies down.
The green industrial revolution that in the next 10 years will create hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of jobs. I can today announce that the UK government has decided to become the world leader in low-cost clean power generation, cheaper than coal, cheaper than gas. And we believe that in 10 years' time, offshore wind will be powering every home in the country, with our target rising from 30 gigawatts to 40 gigawatts. You heard me right.
As Boris said, we heard him right. The only problem is that what Boris was saying violates fundamental principles of science. This graph shows the percent of electricity in the UK generated by wind power over the past month. On many days the wind isn't blowing and there's essentially no power available from wind turbines. You can't run a modern civilization without a reliable supply of energy. And when the wind's not blowing, wind power is not cheap. The cost essentially goes up to infinity. The decisions made by Boris Johnson over the last few years have been catastrophic for the UK. Boris said he was going to create millions of new green jobs, but he's done the exact opposite. 500,000 existing businesses which employ millions of people are at risk of going under. And England's pub culture is at risk as well, with more than 10,000 pubs and restaurants at risk of closure. My favorite pub in England is just over the hill here in South Wiltshire. I used to travel to the UK several times a year, but I haven't been there for 5 years. 2 years ago I purchased plane tickets and planned to travel there, but I never made it because of restrictions put in place by Boris Johnson. Despite much higher prices in the UK, oil is being shipped from the UK to the United States. The reason this is occurring is because all the taxes in the United Kingdom make it less profitable for oil companies to do business there than in the United States. Boris promised that his windmills would bring cheap energy, but the exact opposite has occurred. Because of skyrocketing energy prices, almost half of UK households are facing fuel poverty. Boris's policies have not only caused energy prices to skyrocket, but food prices as well. Millions of people in the UK are facing hunger this winter because of scarcity of food and because of high prices. And because of the idiotic decisions made by Western leaders, Russia is now pumping more oil to Europe than it was before the war started. Richard Feynman said, "For a successful technology, reality must take precedence over public relations, for nature cannot be fooled." But Boris Johnson is trying to fool Mother Nature with his public relations stunts.
And we believe that in 10 years' time, offshore wind will be powering every home in the country, with our target rising from 30 gigawatts to 40 gigawatts. You heard me right.
We heard Boris correctly, and he has no clue what he's talking about. Once Western governments started pushing the end of fossil fuels, this disaster was inevitable. Toto has been barking about this looming disaster for the past 14 years. You can visit Toto, Kyrie, Caesar, Upala, and Toki on the web at realclimatescience.com.